and subscribe today. So I wanted to talk about, before I got disconnected, I was talking about the proud and prude trend. Okay. So, a lot of people, I'm noticing right now, a lot of people are just captivated by this new trend called proud and prude, or proud and non-sexual. And my concern is that after your time of being celibate, prude, abstinent, whatever it is, touch-free, whatever you want to call this so-called trend, after you get to a point where you're no longer touching, no longer allowing touch in your life, what are you doing to supplement, if you will? Because as humans, we eventually have a sex drive, and humans without touch do suffer. There is a suffering that happens when we are not touching. We're not touching sexually. We're not touching intimately. We're not being in touch with our relationship. And so, with that said, a lot of times we're finding ourselves in between a rock and a hard place. So with this proud and prude trend I was talking about earlier, I mean, when is the trend going to come to an end? Are you preparing for returning back to a sex life? If not, why not? Because as I spoke about earlier before I got cut off, many people desire to have power in their life. And if you think about it, being empowered, it comes from various different sources and resources, not saying that you can't be empowered alone, because you can. Yet, the masculine and feminine energy combined creates the highest level of creativity. That is how we give birth to a child. We all come from sex. We are all gifts of the planet. So, I'm just merely concerned that we're omitting sexuality, and I'm not sure what we're trying to accomplish. A lot of times I see this, well, I'm prude and I'm a nice girl, or I'm a nice guy, and it's like, okay, but do you realize the benefits of sex? Have you done any type of research? Have you studied? Have you paid attention? And when I get it, like, intimacy is very important. Partner choices is very important. Being mindful of who you share your body with, yes, is very important. So I get having a point of time where you may be more reserved or non-sexual for whatever reasons of your own choice. But to go years and years and years and years without being intimate, I question why. Because intimacy brings so much life to your life, especially if you are intimate with the right partner, with the right person. See, it's very important that we are mindful that intimacy brings about an inspiration of our creativity. Sexual energy, which is what you exchange while being sexual with someone, that energy is there to power or empower a surge of your creativity in your life. So when we talk about, see, we say things all the time, not realizing that words that we're using has some truth to it. We talk about power couples all the time, do we not? Oh my God, they're a power couple. Will and Jada are a power couple, or Bay and Jay, they're a power couple, or just different couples you see that are making moves. Michelle Obama and Barack, oh, they're a power couple, and you see these power couples, and you're like, wow, they have an absolutely hot, amazing relationship. Why? Because there's a lot of sexual activity going on. I'll tell you why. Because when they are sexual with each other, they are both empowered in themselves. See, when you are with a person that is your match, your sexual match, that person gives you a reason to be the best version of yourself. So they help you to see you. Isn't that deep? They help you to see you. They bring out the best in you. They challenge you to be the best version of yourself. They're not acceptable. It's not acceptable to them for you to be mediocre. They challenge you. They give you reasons to be like, oh, I do need to do something else. I do need to put forth energy on this or put forth energy on that. And one of the things about it is when you are with a person that is surging your empowerment, that person is going to help you to master your gifts that we're born with. We're all born with gifts. So whatever that gift is, they're going to actually empower you to really work towards or go towards our gifts. So while we're in surge, we're in direction of our purpose, we're finding ourselves driven to that purpose, right? And when we're driven to our purpose, be it as it may, we are now going to find ourselves more excited about mastering the gift. And then once we master our gift, guess what? We are pointing ourselves to our direction of our purpose while we're here. Why are we here? So when you are intimate with someone, or you find these couples that are just doing dynamic and you're like, wow, they are amazing together and I love their energy and oh my God, and oh, I want to have that. You get the power of the masculine and the feminine energy. That's power. So why I'm trying to encourage people to understand what sex is and why sex is so important. See, everybody doesn't tell us this kind of stuff. I'm gifting you something that you're not going to get in the textbooks. This is something that you understand over time, over studying, over understanding spiritually. That sex is a part of life. Think about it. We have a sex drive that just arises in our spirit naturally. We don't know when adolescence is going to spark our sex drive. We don't know how it shows up. We don't know any of that. All we know is naturally, it happens. We begin to become sexual. We begin to be attracted to whoever we're attracted to. And when we're attracted, we're finding ourselves sexually moved by them. All of that is natural. That is not something we have to consciously think about. It naturally happens and naturally progresses into that. So because of that, that's why we're finding ourselves like, wow, I didn't even realize that I really, really have an attraction to him, her, whatever. And that's why we're finding ourselves driven and have a sex drive towards wanting to be in a relationship with somebody. And see, the power of that is, it's wonderful. But when you omit that part of your life from your life, that is a natural drive in you that you're taking away from your life for a reason. And see, my thing is, I get it for spiritual reasons. I get it for intentions, that for whatever reason you're having an intention for. But forever, you're omitting that from your life forever? Why? I mean, I'm just asking, like, why? Because really, there's an empowerment that you get when you really surge and get excited about learning about you. And you learn about the beauty of yourself when you're with the person that is gifting you sex and gifting you a surge of wanting you to be the best version of yourself. This is the stuff that they don't teach us. They don't teach us about sexual energy. And I think it's a shame, because sexual energy is one of the greatest things we could possibly have. I mean, when we have it, it brings about a newfound joy. And when we understand that, it comes to a point where we're like, wow, I have a newfound joy in my life that I didn't have before. So that actually helps us to advance our life and advance ourselves into our best version of ourselves. So again, the Proud and Prude trend has taken a life of its own. Being a wisdom coach, I see it a lot. And then I often challenge the person in that thinking. And I say, well, what do you stand to gain here? What are you looking to do? What are you looking in your expectations? What are you doing? Well, I want to be this, or I want to be that, or I desire to have this, or I desire to have that. I'm like, I get it. But you're omitting sexual energy from yourself. So you're wanting to be married, but are you understanding that when you're married, sexuality in marriage or in a marital bond or in a living arrangement is quite different than a sexual arrangement when you don't live in the same home. It's completely different. So the frequency of sex is quite more often when you are in the same home. The expectations from both parties, either one may want it more than the other, these things have to be discussed, because if you have been abstinent for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years or more, and you get into a partnership with someone, and you have went years without it, and then all of a sudden you have a partner that's wanting it on a continual basis, maybe 2 to 3 times a day, you're going to be like, I am needing to, fix this to where there's a compromise. And then it's like, well, why should I have to compromise? I'm wanting to be with you intimately, and we're in a living arrangement. I'm just expecting that we're gonna have sex all the time. And then it's like, no, I don't want to have sex all the time. I want to have sex maybe once or twice a week. But in the beginning, we had it a lot. And yeah, but that's not really my drive. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm dealing with within my coaching sessions. I'm having a lot of frequency problems. I'm having a lot of people not really being honest about their sex drive per se. They're not being very honest about, how they feel about sex itself. And so there's just a lot of conflicts of understanding. And that's why I say it's so important that we really pay attention to what it is we desire, we want, we are truly wanting to have in relationships. Because if we don't talk, if we don't express, if we don't talk about coming out of celibacy, coming out of abstinence, what to expect. I mean, when you haven't been touched for a long time, ladies, if you haven't been touched sexually for a long time, your vaginal walls are very tight. It could be very discomforting the first time. It could be like you're virgin all over again. And the man that you choose may be very endowed. That can be a challenge. These are all things we don't talk about sexually because we don't want to be like, oh, this is a conversation I wasn't expecting. But this is the conversations we should be having because we're grown folks. We need to talk about this very conversation on what it is and what it takes to come out of celibacy, out of abstinence. What do we need to do to gain, to change, to have a better, more fulfilled relationship once we are no longer in our abstinence or in our celibacy? What do we do? So again, I'm Carla Nicole. I have a wisdom service. So, that's what I do. I really am here to help heal the community, help build relationships. It's very important. And I am open to questions. If you guys want to ask me anything, please feel free to inbox me. I'm all about questions. And I did have a question that a gentleman asked me earlier on the other one that I had earlier before I got knocked off. He asked me, he says, what's up with this 90-day rule for being intimate? And so I guess I'll tap on that for just a second. So the 90-day rule is in place by a lot of women to ensure that she is not being just used just to be sexual. But here's my thing, and this is my this is my issue with the whole mindset of waiting or having a set time to when you can sleep with someone. My thing is, it's very important that we get past thinking that sex is to be bartered and exchanged. We're grown. So when we feel that we want to be intimate with someone, be it that it's 90 minutes, 90 weeks, or 90 days, should have no precedence over that decision. The decision needs to be made upon the knowledge of the person you're intimate with. Remember earlier I said knowledge is the best aphrodisiac in a relationship. So what that means is when you get past the days or the time or, giving it to him this time or that time, we are not gifting the yoni to a man. There is an exchange. Sex is an exchange. You're giving, you're taking on both ends. One of the most disrespectful, I believe, one of the most disrespectful old sayings that really burns me up is the one about don't buy the cow when you can milk it for free. That is the most disrespectful, just very ignorant. Because first of all, we're not a cow, number one. Women are not cows. And first of all, sex is an exchange. So it's not as though a man is the only one having the enjoyment in sex. A woman is also in the act herself. And if she's not receiving any type of enjoyment, then that's because she may not have knowledge of what her body is capable of doing, and she just needs to do some sexual exploration. However, buying a cow meaning marriage? What does that mean? You're meaning to tell me that sex during marriage only is... no, because understand something. I have many a married couple that are sexless. So it has nothing to do with that. So all of those comments in the why buy the cow when you can milk it for free is the most detrimental, most disrespectful saying I think that has ever been created. But anyway, I just wanted to say it's very important that we see past it and understand that you can truly have a joy sexually. Women, ladies, you can have multiple orgasms. Gentlemen, you can have explosive volcanic eruptions. It just takes a while to learn each other. The more that you spend time making love to each other, the more you learn how powerful the sex is. It just takes time to learn. It takes time to figure out, oh, I didn't know this was going to be this good. Yes, it's that good. It just takes a while. It really does. It just takes a while to learn each other. But once you learn each other, there's nothing more powerful than that. Okay? So I'm out of here. I hope I gifted you guys with a little more information and just understanding the power of sexuality. Like I said, this is a gift we were given. Naturally, we become sexual beings. Not by choice, not by thought. It just happens naturally. It is a gift for you. And when you're willing to exchange sexual energy, then you can find out how powerful it really is. Okay? So I'm out of here. If you have not yet signed up for my e-course, gentlemen, I have a course called Love Lottery. And I will put the link in here so you guys can join that. And ladies, if you would like to learn to unlearn some things, I have a course to help women and men actually learn how to unlearn some things so they can get a better, more fulfilling relationship in themselves. And then, again, blossom on to having a decent, wonderful partnership with someone else. All right, so I'm out of here. I'm Carla Nicole. I'm signing off. Best kept. Have a good night. Bye.